why is it that the Catholic faith has a different 10 commandments than every other Christian denomination?
All right, let's see it.
The reason is because they changed the day.
No, they didn't.
So if you look at most catechisms, Catholic catechisms, and you look at the 10 commandments, in the original 10 commandments, the second commandment says don't have any idols, don't bow down to statues. Now, they actually removed that.
No, they didn't.
They shortened the fourth one, and then they took the 10th one that says don't covet your neighbor's wife or his house or anything that is your neighbor's, and they divided the 10th commandment into two commandments to keep the number 10 because they took out the second one and they shortened the fourth.
So there are three claims here. The claims about the Catholic Church removing the second commandment and shortening the fourth commandment are entirely false. There's absolutely no truth to that, and the 10 commandments are represented in the catechisms exactly according to the text of Exodus 20. That is unchanged. The notion that what evangelicals understand to be the 10th commandment has been divided into two is accurate in the sense that the Catholic Church recognizes the prohibition on coveting the neighbor's wife as a distinct commandment from the prohibition on coveting the other property of the neighbor. And one could argue that this is the Catholic Church recognizing that a wife is not someone's property. Now, all of these arguments go back to how we number the 10 commandments, because the text of Exodus 20 as well as the text of Deuteronomy 5, don't actually number the commandments or identify them as a collection of 10. There are more than 10 imperative verbs in both sets of commandments, and neither actually says there are 10 things occurring here. The only place where there is a set of 10 that is explicitly designated as a set of 10 is Exodus 34, what is commonly known as the ritual decalogue, which is an overwhelmingly different set of commandments. And at the very end, it refers to them as the Aseret HaDevarim, or the 10 words, the 10 things, or the 10 commandments. So when we talk about a set of commandments acknowledged as a set of 10 in the Hebrew Bible, that only happens once in Exodus 34, and it's not the 10 commandments as we know them. The 10 commandments as we know them are represented in Exodus 20 and in Deuteronomy 5 in a slightly different way. And here is a handy chart that you can find on Wikipedia that shows in the right the different commandments, and some of them you see are kind of doubled up. So if you look kind of in the middle, what is identified as the fourth commandment on the left set of columns and the third commandment on the right, it says, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Then it says, observe the Sabbath day to keep it holy. The top one is what is found in Exodus 20. The bottom one is found in Deuteronomy 5. There are a couple examples of that happening. But on the far left, you have the 10 commandments as they seem to be numbered in the Septuagint, the ancient Greek translation of the Hebrew Bible. The P indicates Philo's numbering of the commandments, and he actually moves thou shalt not kill down to after thou shalt not steal. And then after that we have R, which represents Reformed Christianity. The T is the Talmud. S is the Samaritan Pentateuch. A is Augustine. C is Catholic Church. L is Lutheranism. So you can see that no two are exactly identical. They all have to impose some kind of division of the commandments because there's nothing innate or native to the actual representation of the commandments in Exodus 20 that allows us to know how the authors would have divided them up. So the division of the commandments is really arbitrary, and the notion that the Catholic Church has removed the second commandment is really just the product of the Catholic Church considering the prohibition on worshiping other gods and the prohibition on using idols to be one and the same commandment. That's the only difference. They have not removed the commandment. They've just combined those two and separated out what evangelical Christians consider to be a single 10th commandment.
So it has to do with their own history and their own bias. That's why the Catechism shows a different version of the Ten Commandments than what you'll find in the Bible.
This is entirely false. This is anti-Catholic misinformation. You can find the Ten Commandments in the Catholic catechisms exactly as represented in Exodus 20, and their representation of the Ten Commandments is drawn directly from that of Augustine. The only real difference is the first verse, the I am Adonai your God verse, is considered to be part of the first commandment. But Catholics are not fiddling with the text of Exodus 20. Again, that's just anti-Catholic misinformation. And the fit for this video has been the X-Men 97 cartoon. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do.